You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm and Jupiter. A world-class experience. Visit BremenBMW.com. And by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Yeah, baby, what's up? Got Ricky Bobby here along with me and Diener. What's up, y'all?
Hey, good to be here.
That's kind of a weird thing for me because, I have this ongoing tradition with a good buddy of mine where for the kickoff to March Madness, we always go out, we have lunch, we grab some beers, get some food, and watch the games. Does anybody consider what happened last night part of March Madness? Or is it just, oh, that's cute, but, who cares? I mean, what is this thing that we're doing now on Tuesday nights?
These play-in games?
Yeah. And why is it the 11 seed? Does anybody have any idea, why we're doing all this kind of stuff?
That is strange that it's the 11. I mean, the 16s I get, but why the 11s? It was an upset, though. St. Bonaventure getting it done. The Bonnies.
What did I say yesterday?
I know.
St. Bonaventure.
St. Bonnie, baby.
Beware the Bonnies.
The old Bonnie cap.
Well, what everybody's trying to figure out right now is what's going on with your bracket. How safe is it? Did you become the smartest guy in the office, or are you going to look like a total putz in a couple days when you picked, UCLA to win it all?
Well, now you look like a putz.
Brandon Lang is on here. This is a dude that knows it, man. He's got the March Madness winners, losers, all of it. Brandon, what's going on, my man?
Ricky Bobby, man, I'm praying to baby Jesus. I'm praying to baby Jesus. Not big Jesus, baby Jesus.
Amen.
We say, I call this is Kev Brandon. We call Ricky Bobby. To me, he's kind of like my sports Jesus. He's got a little bit of the look of the Holy One, and he's got the hair and everything that goes on, and his insight is almost godly.
You are blessed, my son.
Yes.
That's great, 'cause I'm a big movie guy. So when I hear a name that triggers a movie, I'm going to throw a line. If it's, my wife and I, we do that a lot. We'll actually spend a whole night just answering each other in movie quotes.
Love it.
It's pretty fun. So,
Tell me about last night. You're a guy that you pretty much nail it. You break this down because a lot of people, who are filling out brackets, they haven't watched a ton of college basketball. They have no idea really what they're putting in there, and they listen to guys like you to say, okay, I've broken it down. I can compare these teams. I can tell you what you need to do and what you don't need to do. Any surprise last night with St. Bonaventure?
well, I'll be honest with you. I watched St. Bonnie play a lot, made a lot of money with St. Bonnie this year. Spent a lot of time in the Atlantic 10. I had St. Bonnie end in Rhode Island 16-game winning streak on that Friday night on ESPN. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, I've also made some money on UCLA, most notably when they were a dog at Arizona, went into Arizona, won the game outright, and then I had them again when they lost in overtime to Arizona in the Pac-12 semis. When you watch as much college basketball as I do, and I've seen every single one of these teams play at least once. I watched every conference tournament because I knew every conference tournament championship game is on ESPN because one of those teams is going to make it, and then you're going to have to handicap a 1 versus 16, like Virginia versus UMBC. So I've seen everybody play. And on paper, the point guard for UCLA averaging 28 a game, huge advantage for UCLA. And I actually thought, if he just plays the way he's been playing, St. Bonaventure can't beat them, especially when I saw Bonnie struggle against Richmond's guards. They had an 18-point lead. Richmond came back, and I'm like, they can be exposed here by UCLA. The problem with this tournament is when you handicap that way, and that's the way I handicap, and I've always been successful, every once in a while that point guard plays like he fixed the game.
Yeah.
And if you saw Holiday play against Arizona, and you saw him play last night, the only conclusion I can walk away from is either he wanted to piss somebody off because you can't. I played basketball. I get it. You can't turn the ball over and play as poorly as he played and not something smell rotten. I mean, that I take the loss like a man, and the one thing about me is I'm honest. When I win, I talk about it. When I lose, I talk about it. There's no, I went 21-0. No, there's none of that.
Yeah.
When I lose, I tell the truth. And the great thing about being Brandon Lang and having to tell the truth is pretty much everything I do in life is validated in the forums and threads because there's so much hate and jealousy out there for me because I am Brandon Lang.
Well, Brandon, tell me this. Am I a smart guy? Because I'm feeling good about Kentucky right now. Am I wise to feel good about Kentucky, or the fact that I took them way far in the tournament was a bad call?
No, and here's why. I'd feel a little nervous now because with the way St. Bonaventure looked last night, it makes that conference now look a little better. It makes the Davidson 12-point win over St. Bonaventure look good. It makes Davidson's win over Rhode Island look pretty good. Davidson's a dangerous team because they lost a lot of games early, and here comes McKinnon, who's a great coach who has his team playing well late. What scares me, and this is crazy, I feel if Kentucky gets by Davidson, they match up better with Arizona than they do Davidson. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Davidson has older players, more experienced players. They play a kind of style that could frustrate Kentucky's young guys. Arizona's more freelance, play through Ayton and go inside out with the big guy. Calipari knows how to defend that. But when you got the kind of team Davidson has, you're right. Get by Davidson, you got yourself something good with Kentucky, and Cal's always shown that he gets a little roll going.
Yeah.
But there's always that one game he has early that he has to get by. That's an interesting 12-5 matchup, and speaking of that, when you look at the 12-5 matchup, the last 7 years, the 12 has won outright, 20-16, straight-up record, 12 beaten a 5.
Wow, okay.
Man, it's that much.
So you know what's going to happen. Now the question is, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Davidson? Is it going to be San Diego State? Is it going to be New Mexico State? Is it going to be
right? Everybody looks. I mean, the clever guy always has a 12-5 upset.
It's scary.
I think it's New Mexico State.
Okay.
I think it's New Mexico State, but Davidson's going to make things really, really interesting. I'm really high on South Dakota State, but that's a weird matchup for them against Ohio State. And then listen. Don't sleep on Murray State, the other 12. They could send Bob Huggins to the Golden Corral Buffet a little early.
Wow.
He wants to go.
Yeah.
In that matchup there because West Virginia
He
has
wants to go, Brandon. He wants to go.
Yeah. Hey, looking at some of the possible upsets, some people are liking Loyola, Illinois over the Canes.
As they should. You look at this team. I live in Jacksonville. I got a home in Vegas, so I'm back and forth. I went to that game in Gainesville when Loyola Chicago went in there and beat Florida by 6. And I remember watching that game going, wow, this is a team. This is a team. They play as a team.
Okay.
And then their leading scorer, Clayton Cluster, went down, and they kind of bounced around a little bit. Since he's come back, they're 17-1 straight up. Now, Miami's had to play without Brown, their point guard, for most of the year. He'll probably go to the next level. But at the end of the day, it's the kind of team that gives Miami fits. And people don't realize, I love Jim Lorang. I'm still earning money that his George Mason team run in 2006. They just are, and I love him. But they're a really young team. And people don't realize how young Miami is. And they're playing a veteran team, 5 guys scoring double figures. It's just, I think it's a bad matchup. And last, when you're talking about point spreads, why is a team out of the ACC only laying 2 against the team from the Merged Out Conference?
Right. That's that kind of game that makes you go, there's something going on.
Kind of going, there's your winner, because if Miami was supposed to win, the line would probably be 6.
Yeah.
So trying to trap, they couldn't make Loyola Chicago the favorite, so trying to trap as many people on the Miami side as possible at -2 when they full well know Loyola Chicago's probably going to win that game outright.
What if you've got right here New Mexico State up on Clemson? How are you feeling about that game?
I watched New Mexico State in their conference championship game against Grand Canyon only because people tell me my hoop game always pattered Dan Marley, who's the head coach of Grand Canyon. And if you would have watched that game, he's pretty animated on the sideline.
Yeah.
He gets really, really pissed. It's pretty hilarious. They're a good ball club. And the thing about them is teams that rebound really, really well usually do really, really well in this tournament. They're one of the top 5 rebounding teams in the country, top 5 on the defensive glass, which means you get no second opportunities. And Clemson struggles against competition like this. Listen, Texas Southern, which plays tonight, which started the year 0-13, but all 13 were against Division I schools like Gonzaga and Oregon. Like, look at their first 13 games. You're like, their coach just basically said, listen, we're going on the road 13 games. We're going to play all the best teams we can play. They were 0-13. Since then, I think they went 15-5.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Clemson, too, lost, 5 of their last 8, too.
Yep. But struggled to beat Texas Southern at home. I think it was 84-77 final. So that's the 12 that I really, really like. And then let's really quickly move to the 11 versus the 6, because the stat I'm going to tell you right now is going to blow you away, because with all the numbers and all the analytics, you tend to forget little things like this. The last 2 years, the 11-6 matchup, if I were to tell you the 11 has beaten the 6 the last 2 years, 6 out of 8.
Wow.
6-2 straight up.
Okay.
So now, working off that, who's going to win? There's Loyola Chicago. They're your 11.
Okay.
You got San Diego State Houston, which is a real interesting matchup. St. Bonnie, Florida. Watch St. Bonnie now. I heard your boy talking, saying, I know it. Listen, I didn't need to be told about St. Bonnie because I've watched them all year. But they're with the guards, they could give Florida fits in that next round.
What about Wright State versus Tennessee? I'd like some things I'd seen recently from Tennessee, but some people are saying go with Wright State on this one.
We're talking a 14 against a 3, right?
Yeah, that's that old Horizon League final score 46-44 in the conference championship game. They played.
Any chance Wright State's got here on the Vols?
Listen, you always got a chance when you're going against John Grisham, because you don't know if John Grisham is writing a book or he's ready to go.
Nice.
Because you look at Rick Barnes, you can't watch the game and in the first 5 minutes want to go to your library and pick a Grisham book. You can't. They're twins, for the love of God. I don't know if Wright State's got enough offensively to pull it off. I think the game will be closer than people think. The other game that I like when you want to go, keep an eye on my boys from College of Charleston against Auburn. You know, now that Bruce Pearl has paid all these guys and they all got paid.
He's even saying, he's even down on his team saying they're not ready for this tournament. So.
Oh, no. So they all got paid.
Yeah.
You know what it's like trying to get a guy to work after you paid him?
Yeah, right.
They're done.
Brandon, who is the team that I should have picked in my bracket if I want to look smart? Who's riding farther than you'd think they would?
That's a great question. Houston Cougars.
Okay. Very cool.
Cougars. They have a guard in Gray that if you haven't seen him play, if you use Houston and you bet Houston, I always put a bun in my hair because he has a little bun that he puts it in, so we're one and the same.
I've seen that guy. Yes.
The guy can play. So they get a favorable matchup with San Diego State. And then, listen, Michigan's beatable simply because they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country.
Okay.
So they're going to have their hands full with Montana, but it's a good matchup for Houston there.
All right, man. Well, he's Brandon Lang. Brandon, thank you so much for jumping in with us, man. We appreciate it. Where can people check out your stuff? I was watching you on YouTube.
Oh, BrandonLang.com. All my guys have brackets up, and if you go there, you don't pay for a thing. Your first day is always free. It's a one-day free all-access pass. It's like an $800 value. You'll get 12 best bets for free. I don't ever make anybody pay for anything the first time they go to my website.
Love it, buddy. Appreciate the insight, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Coming up here, ranking some of the big moves Dolphins have been making, but this whole Amendola trade, what do you think about it? If you had to slap a letter grade on it, what's it going to get? We'll tell you next.
It's Derek Jeter's favorite sports show, just like Derek Jeter is Florida's favorite owner. Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Go with the hard stuff today, man.
What's up, man?
This is like mainlining.
The music version.
This is the way your veins feel when you do heroin.
Well, you got a lot of moves that the Dolphins have been making. The Danny Amendola trade trying to make up for Jarvis Landry going. Was it necessary, or are the Dolphins just overpaying for a dude that they should not be paying for or even bringing in-house at all?
That, sir, you just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. A lot of people not really liking this trade. I mean, it's a name where you're going, oh, look, it's Patriot.
Yeah.
But, again, this seems like the Dolphins are just trying to run after the Patriots without doing what the Patriots do.
I'll be honest, I'm really happy with it. I love when the Dolphins make stupid moves like this.
As he wears a Jet shirt sitting next to me right now.
Well, that's the reason why. When you guys make more dumb moves, it makes our dumb moves seem not so dumb anymore.
That's fair.
Bill Barnwell from ESPN NFL Free Agency, he's grading this as a D+. He is saying, look, you're guaranteeing Amendola, who turns 33 in November. He just completed 1 season in 5 with the Patriots, had his pay cut. He's looking at an $8.3 million 2-year whole deal here with the Dolphins. But he brings up the point, and the difference between the Patriots, and this has been the thing with the Patriots and the Dolphins, same conference, good organizations establish their own culture. They draft and develop solutions at positions like slot receiver. Bad organizations, looking at the Dolphins, looking at you, man, are unable to trust their development abilities. They pay premiums to go after players on the downside of their careers out of the hope that they can bring in some of the magic success dust from their old homes. But in reality, the Dolphins should just be looking at what the Patriots do instead of who they are. That is a blast on what the Dolphins are doing here in the offseason, and people are confused, and this doesn't seem to make things any better.
I think that pretty much sums it all up right there.
I mean, who's making is this Tannenbaum? Is Stephen Ross have a hand in this?
Oh, Tannenbaum.
Is it Gase?
Tannenbaum.
I think you got to throw everybody into the mix, right? I mean, I wouldn't imagine that any decisions happening here with the franchise without there being some kind of communication happening between these guys saying, okay, hey, what are we going to do here? It's not going to be just one person going rogue.
They need an organizational flood right now. They need to get everybody the hell out of there.
They need a purge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, somebody put on the mask, get the chainsaw, and get everybody out of there.
Well, I mean, you have to say, if you're a Dolphins homer and a hopeful, that you got to say until they make some changes in the front office, you're not going to see a successful franchise. I mean, is it safe to say that just, pack your hopes and go root for the best and, you're looking at a 6-10 team pretty much year in and year out?
It's tough when you see your team grasping at straws themselves. When you see them go after a guy who's played one full season in the past 5 years and they decide to pay him $12 million over the next 2 years when they don't have any money as it is. They're cutting Sue. They're cutting cash right now. So, I mean, what are they doing that makes them think this is going to be the solution?
Well...
Oh, Miami.
Yeah, I think that's your question. But what are they looking at, like $26 million in cap space after the drop of Sue?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really not that much.
It's not that much.
That's going to get wiped up so much. I mean, the Jets have $92 million worth of cap space.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And you think about what you can actually be able to do with $26 million. You're only going to be able to get secondary players anyway. So if you want to look at it in a really, really cynical way, which is how I do most of my thinking, it would be that would be a really bad move for Amendola. But honestly, what else are you going to get?
Right. I mean, he's got to be happy. He's probably satisfied with what he's getting.
And he'll play for it because he feels like he's worth it.
Right,
And
exactly.
I think that almost means more.
Well, if you're looking at the optimism of your franchise, you want to look at a couple of things. I mean, you want to obviously see what you got on the roster already. But if you're looking at a team that's rebuilding, which the Dolphins are, and it's obviously happening, there are two things that make you optimistic, and it's picks and cap space.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the Dolphins, pretty much looking at about 2 picks here and not a lot of cap space. And so I think that your optimism has got to be about as big as your cap space and your picks, and that's not a lot. So there's not a lot of optimism for the Dolphins.
Well, exactly. I mean, there isn't just because of the money they have, but I don't think you can grade this whole Danny Amendola thing in exactly what an organizational blunder, because they could be the best thing they could be able to. They're not going to be able to go out there and get your top free agents because they don't have the money for it.
I get he's the best they can get right now, and I don't hate the move. I like Danny Amendola as a player.
Well,
I think it can work
hard
well.
For the team.
He'll play hard for the team, but how much is he going to be able to play? I just think with the amount of money that they have, this is an overpaying situation. I like the player. I like the guy. I think he can be actually productive for the team. Just less money.
But look at what the other wide receivers that have been picked up have been getting. I mean, that's a cheap for someone that can be productive if he stays healthy. But that's a question with everybody.
Looks like Baker Mayfield's become a little bit more of a reality, though. Seems like the Dolphins really been courting this guy.
There we go.
This is going to be their pick. I mean, he might be kind of the savior for what they're hoping to have happen.
Ooh, I'd calm down with that S word there.
Hey, man, we're hoping for anything at this point.
At this point, they'll really take anything. But, I mean, if they got the right piece in there at quarterback, it's going to change everything. I mean, you look at the Drew Brees situation, and as you really start to kind of like look back and say, where did things really go wrong for the Dolphins? A lot of it you can earmark and go back to the Drew Brees situation that happened years ago. And who was that doctor in Miami with the team? Where is this guy? What is his name? Because he really turned the tide of not only one franchise, but it's interesting when you're talking, Diener, about, Saban likely would have been with the Dolphins a lot longer, might still be with the Dolphins had he had Drew Brees. He had some decent defensive pieces at the time. It could have really changed everything. It could have changed the course of not only the Dolphins, the Saints, Alabama football, and the dynasty they put together.
Amazing, isn't it, that the opinion of one doctor changed all of that 12 years ago?
I think it was Dr. Kevorkian.
I wouldn't be surprised. There are two people, Kev, that if I met in my life, I would just sock them right in the face. There's that doctor, And I'll do this one for you. The referee from the 2002 National Championship
I tell you,
game.
Kev, I'd sock him right in the
Right
face.
in the face. Who threw that
to the
pass
moon,
interference?
Alice. To the moon. How old are you? Sock him in the face.
Oh, that reminds me. Happy birthday to my wife. She's 25 again this year.
My Lord.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
lovely.
Yes.
And from what I'm hearing, too, finally, it looks like your boy Matt Moore is not going to be a Dolphin anymore.
Yay.
He's going to go be backup quarterback someplace else for another 11 years?
I don't know. Maybe he's going to wind up in the CFL. Not sure where he's going to wind up, but yeah, it looks like he is not going to be back. So
Wow.
I would say without a doubt, I mean, looking at that you're probably saying definitely you're going to see the Dolphins trying to go with the quarterback in the pick, and they think that's going to be Baker Mayfield. And they seem to be putting in their time, putting the full court press on this cat.
I mean, if they think he's going to be the future and this is the time of rebuilding, this is a good time for him to get his legs underneath him. Mm-hmm. I mean, because they know this team's not going to go into the postseason the way it looks right now. You never know what they could be able to do, what kind of moves they could be able to make to turn this around. You don't actually know what Baker Mayfield's going to do on an NFL field.
Right.
So we'll see. But if they're banking on that being their guy, then this is probably the best idea for him.
His pro day at Oklahoma is today. The Dolphins apparently took him out to eat on Tuesday. So they look like they're in maybe the final stages of saying, if you're around at 11, you're going to be our guy.
They're courting. They're in like a courting.
They're really courting. What are they taking, the solid gold or something like that?
Probably.
It's kind of interesting. How long has Dominic Sue known that he was going to be out in Miami? He's put his house on the market, which you would expect, but the thing maybe you wouldn't expect is he actually put that house on the market on February 5th.
Hey, now. That's last month.
Absolutely. We're talking well over a month. I know.
Good job.
His
Thank
math
you.
skills are impressive.
That's good, right?
Wait,
Yeah.
look at my shoes off.
You know what, Ricky? I'm going to sock you in the face here.
Yeah,
on
I
the
know
break.
you will.
Yeah, so likely he's known for a while that things are not going to work out for him in Miami. $7.29 million. It's in Coral Ridge. He got it for $6.5 million in July 2015. It's a 6-bedroom, contemporary style, built in 2013. It's about a half an acre, fronting the Intercoastal Waterway. So it's out there. It's ready for you to buy it.
So now we got Tiger Woods' old mansion at $49 million.
Well, Elon's. I don't think they
yes.
ever. Yeah,
That's true.
I don't think he was invited over very often.
That's true. So it's her mansion, and then
Yes.
we have Sue's, I guess, mini mansion. I guess you can call it. I don't
Yeah.
know. Nice big house.
Got a couple places.
We got options.
What's Baker Mayfield going to have, like a fraternity house? He's going to have like a whole dormitory to himself?
I could see that.
No, I think he's probably more of a Brickle cat. He's going to get something downtown. He's going to be where the party is. He wants
Nice
to be in the
pad
action. Yeah.
where he can be able to bring ladies
Yeah.
back.
I think that's what
Show
he's
him
looking
his
at.
salad gold.
Just keep this guy out of trouble. I don't want a Johnny Manziel situation down
Dude, you're
here.
bringing this guy that already he's a bit of a flamboyant personality, not in that way, and you're putting him in Miami. I think it's probably a bad idea, and that's what most people are saying about him is that this may be a bad idea, putting him in that area.
But if we find out in 2 years that it wasn't a bad idea,
Oh, fine, whatever.
then okay, this could be one of those things. I mean, you just never know, and it's usually a franchise turns around the fastest in the hands of a quarterback.
Yeah.
that does it.
Yeah.
And so, if just say maybe Baker Mayfield is the guy, and you look at Drew Brees, a shorter quarterback too. Baker Mayfield, kind of like in the same vein. You're saying, okay, shorter guys can do it. If you had Drew Brees 2.0, maybe it's Baker Mayfield. Maybe this is it. But how long does it take for him to get ready to play in the NFL?
This is it. It's the Dolphins' chance at redemption if we're not getting Drew Brees. It's kind of like a Drew Brees clone, I hope. I really hope he's a Drew Brees clone.
That's why I say I think a lot of
Yeah,
people
you
are
guys
hoping that he's
really
the
like
savior.
right over there. You're like teetering off the
But
edge.
it's about the only thing you have to be hopeful about right now if you're a Dolphins fan.
Isn't that sad, though?
No, absolutely.
It is. I mean, it's the only thing you have to be hopeful of, that Baker Mayfield is going to be your guy and that things are going to turn around because of that.
And lower ticket prices because nobody's going to really go.
True.
Yesterday, we were talking about Tom Brady and his ability to chug beer, which, I mean, he just has, it seems like he's just skilled massively, like everything he takes on. And he was on with Stephen Colbert the other night, and they both chugged a beer, and he just destroyed Colbert. He put down a beer. We sat down and timed this thing out just to kind of get an idea if you wanted to try to chug beer like Tom Brady. It looked like a full pint, so I'd say, what, a 12 ounce, you'd say? Was that 12 ounces he took down? 12 ounces. Diener, what was the time you got on that?
We did a bunch of different calculations, timed it a few times, took the average, 1.9.
That's not
1
real.
No, I'm serious. I mean, every time I did it, it was a 1.8, 1.9, 2 seconds flat. That's where I was coming out at.
If
1.9.
you haven't seen it, it looked like Tom Brady was just pouring it out of a glass. It went down. I'm like, I thought he was doing magic. I'm like, I don't know how he took that beer down that fast.
It was really ridiculous to the point where he even put it down, realized he had some left in it,
Yeah.
and picked up and finished it before Stephen Colbert could even put it all down.
He drank it twice.
But there really wasn't even much left.
No, there really is.
But he's such a perfectionist, he had to have it all gone.
He's like, sorry, I left a little bit in the bottom.
So we're talking about 1.9 seconds. So if you want to try to beat the mark and chug beer, just even like Tom Brady does, if there's anything you could do even half as well as Tom Brady, 1.9 is what you got to set the bar at.
I mean, that's kind of ridiculous.
It's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, you got to get like a second and a half of downing 12 ounces of beer. We're going to try this, though.
Yeah,
right?
tomorrow it's our challenge. We're going to be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. before 6:40 the Hurricane goes over into NCAA coverage. So we're going to be doing it, getting a little bit of a buzz on to start off the tournament for Thursday. We're going to each mark our times. Who finishes first, second, and third. We're going to have a placing tomorrow. Ricky Bobby, I think right now is the odds-on favorite.
You think so?
Really?
I don't know.
All
Yeah.
right.
I think
All right.
I think it's you, me, then Diener.
I'm
Diener
coming
might,
last, right?
Diener might be over the 7-second mark. I don't have high hopes, but you never know.
I'm a dark horse.
Yeah,
Dark horse.
He is the dark horse.
You're the old horse.
Coming up here, have you actually compared numbers on Stanton's contract versus Judge's? It's pretty interesting to see who's making what. I'll give you the breakdown on that coming up next.
Be part of the show on Twitter at 640 The Hurricane, hashtag Kevin's Other Show.
I was telling you when I went to the Marlins-Yankees spring training game on Sunday, just how long. I mean, the umpire basically had to say to Starlin Castro, hey, we got to, play a game here, man. You got to, pick it up a little bit. He was sitting there, and he was just like any Yankee he saw. It was like, how you doing, buddy? What's going on, pal? How are you, man? How you guys doing over there?
How big is your carry-on?
Yeah, you guys having a good time? Man, I miss you guys so much. It was
So
just
sad.
It really was sad, and they did an interview with him after the game, and they said, okay, well, you were vocal when you got traded from the Yankees to a team that was just cutting weight on everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were dishing everything they could, and you were the only thing that they brought in. And he's been through this before. You know, I mean, it seems like you got to almost feel for this guy. I mean, Starlin Castro, going back, he was on a Cubs team that just couldn't get it going. And then they start to show progress and they get going. And then what happens? Year before they get it going, he's gone.
Yeah.
So he's like, really? So he probably was that way when he first got traded out of Chicago. Like, hey, buddy, what's going on, man? How you guys doing? You guys are doing so great now. Congratulations. He's always that guy. Then the Yankees last year just misses the cut last
And he
year.
probably hears the news, too, and he's like, wait, we got Giancarlo?
Right.
We got Mikey?
He's probably so excited. He's like, finally. And then with the whole deal, he realizes, wait, I got to go to Miami?
Lonely.
Odd man out.
He is the guy that always gets traded from the team that's about to make it happen.
Yeah.
So you've got to feel good if you're the Yankees, because look at what the Cubs did as soon as they got rid of him. They go and win a World Series. Now the Yankees, I guess you're probably marked to do it.
That's a good point. That's something that would happen to me, right? Like if I'm that guy that's on the team that gets traded right before they win the World Series. That's me. That's totally me.
Sometimes it just, I don't know what it is, man. People have got that, it's just luck of life, man. I think this
true.
is what Starlin Castro's life is. You know, they asked him about it. He said, you know, it was kind of tough in the beginning. And they're talking to him at Roger Dean. He said, you know what, I got traded. It was sad for me. But after that, you know, it's one of those things you can't control. He's trying to, you can hear in his comments, he's trying to motivate himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's realizing this is going to be a long season. He said, I feel good now. That's nothing new for me, being on a team that's growing up. Yeah, he knows what it's like.
He feels good now. He's got a flask in his back pocket.
Yeah.
It's the only way he can feel good down here.
The only
Oh, great
way,
being here. I'll have it here.
I think if you're Starlin Castro right now, the Marlins, I mean, your only optimism is I've got to do what I can for a couple of months here, and I got to pray, because realistically, he's looking at this and he's like going, okay, possibly what I could do if I start hitting well. I'm due to make $10.86 million. When that comes due, the Marlins are going to look at that. They're going, like, okay. When it gets about playoff time, the Marlins are going to be going, okay, this is the guy we got to cut. We got to cut weight on, and he's going to go, and hopefully he goes to a contender. That's the only thing I think that Starlin Castro right now is hoping, that at the end of the year, the final pitch of the season, he's not a Marlin.
I love that. So he just has to play well enough to get paid.
Trade
that
bait.
way, they can be like, okay, let's get rid of him now because he's going to make too much money.
If you're Starlin Castro, I think that's your motivation. I think he is just saying, okay, right now in spring, when I saw him he looked great. I mean, he's taking good strokes. He looks like a hitter. He's batting .303 right now. He's only got the one homer, but I mean, he had a triple when I saw him on Sunday. And he was, I thought he was probably going to hold up at second because I'm like, who's going to go that hard in spring?
Yeah.
He went head first slide into third. I'm like, well, that seemed unnecessary. So I don't know if he's trying to, I don't know if he's trying to injure himself. Because I don't know what his strategy is here. I don't know if it's to look.
It's like, how did Tebow find a sprinkler head? I've been looking all day.
Yes. One of two things is Starlin Castro's motivation right now. He's either trying to play great or he's trying to injure himself so he doesn't have to go through the pain of playing for the Marlins.
That's a good possibility, but what if he just becomes the face of the franchise? He can make a lot of money doing that. A lot of endorsements in Miami, you know what I mean?
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's
probably
even in
not.
his mind.
I tried the optimism thing. It sucks.
No.
I'm back to being negative. It's going to be really terrible for him, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's going to be awful.
Really bad.
Can I just throw this out there? What if the Marlins end up being good?
3.14!
Super Pie! He makes his AM debut! Here's a sports reference. The Buckeyes suck! 3.14! Yeah! Super Pie! Yeah!
Well,
If you guys didn't know, it's March 14th,
Wow.
3.14.
It's Pie Day. I forgot about that.
Was he yelling 3.15 the entire time? He's not the smartest
Super
Pie
Pie.
on the
No,
planet.
he's Super Pie.
Was it 3.15?
That
He was yelling 3.15,
I hope he was.
believe.
In case, obviously, if you're not watching the YouTube show, that was Jason from the KVJ show that just came flying in here. I mean, literally out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a wrestling fan.
You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
It was an RKO out of nowhere.
Oh, there's it's real whipped cream.
So it wasn't shaving cream.
Oh, no. Super Pie believes in the high fat.
Yeah.
The high-fat Super Pie. So it's Jason
Yeah.
and his Super Pie character.
So we've had kind of this tradition on KVJ for years where on National Pie Day.
Yeah.
Which is today,
Yeah.
3/3/14.
Which is funny because I usually
Math
look for
joke.
this video during the day too, and today I completely forgot to look for it. Now I
Yeah,
realize
well,
I wouldn't have found it.
I kind of forgot it was because I went through the whole day and I'm like, I haven't gotten pied. Everything seems to be peaceful. This
It
is
happened.
nice. Thank you. Denny's, our producer on the KVJ show, is in here.
With paper
Anytime a
towels.
mess happens, I don't know what, magically Denny's appears. Doesn't even matter what time of day it is.
I think it's the Asian in him, honestly.
we
He just turns it on.
Out of nowhere, here he comes. Thank you, Denny's. I appreciate the help there. Thank you.
we established that Denny's role is
much.
moral support.
Yes.
and we can't have anybody else better for that.
How
No,
you
we
doing
like
over
that.
there? You all
I
right?
have never been more delicious.
I mean, he
Yes.
just came running in here. I'm gonna set the
Screaming.
picture. Screaming. He's got a Raleigh Fingers type mustache on.
Yeah.
With
Why
an
does
open
it
jacket.
always have to go to wrestling?
No,
You
Raleigh Fingers is a
friggin'
baseball
nerd.
player.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come on, he's
I
a
just
pitcher.
assumed it was a pitcher.
No, that's fair. You can assume that. Open
Yeah.
jacket, no shirt, and just pies Kevin right in the face with this giant thing of whipped cream.
Well, you can go watch that on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, I was
That
gonna
was
say.
something.
The visual, just type in Kevin's other show and it'll be there.
I'll be honest, he scared the crap out of me. I did not, did
You
not see that coming.
You didn't get hit in the face with a pie. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm getting assaulted here. This is crazy.
I think we need to go back and just grab all the individual shots of all of us jumping.
Yes.
I jumped. After that, I knew what was going on, but I just the initial thing scared the absolute crap out
Oh,
of me.
mercy.
All right, well, let me get to the only other person that might be more depressed than Starlin Castro, and I guess he's looking to the future, but that was kind of interesting. Looking at Aaron Judge versus Giancarlo Stanton's salary, just to compare to, I want to throw a couple numbers at you here, and I don't throw often numbers out, but the thing about Aaron Judge, he had a great rookie year, but he's not eligible to renegotiate his contract, meaning he's only going to be making $622,300 this year. $622,000. Now, if you take a look at what Giancarlo Stanton is making and did the average and said, hey, bud, what are you making? Aaron Judge, congratulations. You are making 2.4% of what Giancarlo Stanton is making.
Whoa.
This year.
You got to earn your stripes.
2.4%.
You got to earn your stripes. Unless you're Giancarlo, then you already come with stripes born onto you.
Yes. Somebody who won't be even making that much, Tim Tebow, if everybody has fascination with him like they have fascination with Tiger Woods, he's just been demoted to minor league camp, only batting .056.
Good job, Tebow.
11 strikeouts in 18 at-bats. I mean, that's actually kind of impressive.
You know what?
11 strikeouts, 18 at bats.
That's pretty good. I mean, he's consistent. I mean,
Yeah.
You got to give him that.
Well, he was slated to be at Roger Dean today. I don't know if he's still going to pop in, and he still might pop up in some Grapefruit League games. He can still, play. You might see him, but if you want to see him in St. Lucie, it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. They expect him to be playing at AA Binghamton. Last year he was playing, with St. Lucie. Looks like he's going to AA Binghamton instead. So I don't think he's going to be in Port St. Lucie this year.
We found somebody who's sadder than Starlin Castro.
Yeah, there you go. Had to look hard, but there you go. All right, coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Very interesting things. In fact, we'll put a list together of 3 items you should never buy together. We'll tell you what's on that list next.
Get Kevin's other show whenever the hell you want on YouTube and at 640thehurricane.com.
Well, I don't have much to say in the way of Heat and the Panthers today. Heat are going to be at the Kings, and the Panthers are going to be at the Bruins tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can both rebound from double losses, double L's the other night.
Yeah, it just sucks, Panthers being on. Who cares about the Heat? But the Panthers, they're most likely going to make the playoffs. Panthers really fighting for it, and then they get smashed. And now all of a sudden it's like with all the other moves. Now what are they? 4 points behind?
4 points behind Columbus. So what do you mean? Who cares about the Heat? I care about the Heat.
Well, no, I'm saying they're going to make the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, you're going to watch them in
I see what you
postseason play. So I mean, it is what it is. Unless they really just bottom out, which I really doubt that's going to happen.
Let you badmouth the Heat in front of me. Can I just say, Kevin is the consummate professional. He is in the middle of still wiping himself down from
really
whipped
didn't
cream
break
from the
stride.
super pie. I mean, not at all. I mean, we're just doing the show, and he's just sitting there.
I'm kind of
just
used to
showering
mass
off.
chaos while trying to broadcast.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's nothing new.
This is part of the show for you.
It's just part of KVJ, baby. It's
Man. Super pie out of nowhere.
Throw a flaming cat at me. I got this. No problem. It's all good, man.
Not breaking
Fire
stride.
extinguisher in the pocket.
All good.
Love it.
Now, one of the big things that people were bringing up today, and I guess maybe I should, shame on you. Stephen Hawking passed away.
Yeah.
And all I knew was the guy who had been in the wheelchair, and you always heard him, and he had the, spoke through the computer. I really don't know much about this guy. I know he talked a lot about space and, woe is us because we don't stand a chance against robots in the future, but that pretty much was his thing.
Yeah, coming from someone who sounds like a robot really freaks you out.
Yes, right.
But he was a physicist.
He was a physicist, okay.
Yeah.
And, what did he physicize?
Well, I mean, he wrote the book on time.
On time? So before him, we didn't get time?
It's just like he believes that the universe was not created, will not be destroyed. It just kind of is. He believes that he wrote the book basically explaining what time is.
Okay.
He's
All
like
right.
Albert Einstein type mind. He was supposed to die in his mid-20s because he got diagnosed with ALS real young.
Yeah.
And then he wound up living until 76.
I think they gave him 2 years with that diagnosis, right? I did read that. Yeah, he was given 2 years, and then he lives to be, 76. So, I mean, defying time. So he must know something. He's got to be smarter than I am.
Yeah. But he's very much, he doesn't believe in religion. He doesn't believe in any of that stuff. So I said if he winds up dying and he goes and he sees Peter and he's like, oh, man, I messed up. I apologize.
I was really
so
smart.
sorry.
Hey, Pete, no hard feelings, right?
Yeah, right? Come on, man. We don't know.
So what is his,
Come on, man, we
what
don't
is this
know.
guy's take on aliens? Stephen Hawking. Here's what he had to say about aliens. Does he believe in UFOs?
I am discounting reports of UFOs. Why would they appear only to cranks and weirdos?
It's
What?
fair. Why would they only appear to cranks and weirdos? Now, to be able to be in that position, be as old as he is, and still have a sense of humor is
good.
incredible.
So he's not, despite all of his knowledge, he's not a believer in UFOs.
No, he doesn't believe in UFOs because he doesn't think that. He's like, why is it only people in trailer parks that get visited by UFOs?
But honestly, it's not. I mean, just this week we had more footage of
The one in
Thank
Antarctica
you.
or North
Yes.
Pole?
Yeah, I
whatever?
mean, you've got a lot of fighter pilots, former
right.
astronauts are all saying, yeah, we saw stuff that you cannot explain. So, I mean, are you calling them cranks and weirdos?
Exactly.
Well, Stephen Hawking wrote the book on time.
Take that, Stephen Hawking. Oh, I shouldn't say that. He's dead.
He's dead.
I shouldn't say that.
Real jackass.
I'm
you
going to
know
take that back. I'm sorry.
Take that, Stephen Hawking. He can't. He's dead. He
sorry.
can't take anything.
I didn't mean that.
Wow.
Kicking a guy when he's down, huh?
Inconsiderate.
Yes,
bastard.
very down. He's very down.
Well, if this just ever shows you anything, a story that kind of stands out today, sometimes it's not necessarily about what you buy or what you steal, but what you buy in combination or steal in combo. There's a guy who's a Maryland police officer, which, first of all, shame on you. You got to know better. Police officers aren't supposed to steal. He apparently tried to disguise himself as an off-duty security guy at Walmart. Which is kind of odd because you always hear of people impersonating a police officer, but not impersonating a security guy at Walmart.
This is
Very specific.
You feel like you could get a little bit
Especially
more.
when you're ahead of that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a legit guy.
Yes.
It's
We
like-
need to take this 45-inch TV in for evidence.
I don't. Yeah,
You're a police officer.
It's a weird thing to impersonate. I don't understand this. But then, what's even more baffling, he goes into the Walmart and steals instant oatmeal and 2 boxes of condoms.
Wait, what? Why? What is that? What are you doing with those 2 things?
I think what it is, he's got to carb up before sex.
Is that what it is?
I would imagine, yes.
Well, it does. I mean, honestly, what you buy kind of tells a little bit of a story about you.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at that, and I wonder how often I've bought things which could be completely unrelated, or I'm buying actually something for my wife or for somebody else,
Yeah.
and they're sitting there trying to put together these items.
The cashiers themselves trying to figure out what the hell you're
Or
doing
just
with
people
it.
behind you, right? Have you ever felt that where people might be judging you if you're only buying a few things?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
there's stuff you put together. Like you buy whipped cream, a hatchet, and silly string, and people are like, what's going on
What are
here?
you doing?
What are you doing?
Hey, where'd you find a
Project.
hatchet in Publix?
It's a special section.
The wilderness section.
Ricky Bobby, you have a story about that one time buying a pregnancy test.
Well, yeah, this was a situation that, I mean,
So this has happened to you?
It happened to me before.
Okay.
It's like one of those things where you don't even really think about it, really. You just do it because you're in the moment. And there was a point in time where I needed to buy a pregnancy test, for reasons. And so I'm thinking to myself, I go to Publix, I get the pregnancy test, I finally find it. And then I was like, well, if we're not pregnant, then we'll celebrate. So I get a bottle of wine.
Okay.
So that's good. And then I had a gig that night, and my one of my bags of my drums was ripped. And I was like, crap, I'm out of duct tape. So I go and I get
no.
duct tape, a pregnancy test, and wine, and I go up to the register, and the woman at the cash register looked at me and changed to a manager. And I'm like, wow, this is very odd. It is what it is. And they're staring at me all weird, watching me. I didn't understand why. But apparently buying a pregnancy test, a bottle of wine, and duct tape doesn't look good together. I see why now.
I could see why they're so maybe you're buying the wine to celebrate if you weren't pregnant, and then they're wondering what are you going to do with the duct tape if you are pregnant.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, woo somebody into being like, take this pregnancy test. Oh, you pregnant? Well, you're done.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I mean, why would you automatically assume murder? Or maybe I automatically assume that.
Yeah, I think maybe you're projecting this on yourself.
think I
Yeah.
did.
Is that what it is?
That could possibly be, yes.
It looks bad.
So basically, my girlfriend's dead.
Oh,
No, I'm
that's-
kidding.
They asked people on Reddit, they said, what are the worst 3 things that you can buy together and should not? Catnip, lubricant, pool noodle.
Sure. Sure. I can see that. You want to stay away from those 3 things.
Well, you can draw a story. Again, you look at these things, you can't draw a story together. And just imagine in your head, what is this story? It's kind of like fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Rope, coloring book, gravy.
Yeah, the gravy is the nice kicker right there. I think you killed Ricky just now. We might need some duct tape
Oh, my
for him.
God.
He's still recovering.
He's recovering.
Boy, better get it straight because
That
next
pool noodle just took me by surprise. That's why.
next 2 shows we got tomorrow. Trying to chug beer like Tom Brady. Can we beat 1.9 seconds? We'll set the mark. How fast do we chug beer or not chug beer? Is Diener the obvious loser here? Or is there a chance maybe he takes the whole thing?
I'm going to surprise some people.
Then we got some fun with some hot wings, super hot wings on Friday's show, Kevin's other show. So we're going to be live on 6:40 a.m. The Hurricane tomorrow, both days, and on Friday, 11 a.m., leading you up into coverage of March Madness.
I love how we chose to do this when it was live.
I know, right?
Like, this is
That's
when,
true.
then when we're doing it live on air, that's when we chose to do this stuff.
Perfect.
We'll see how quickly you guys recover when we're live. Like getting hit with a pie in the face. Will
Yeah.
you guys be able to rebound from beer chugging and eating hot wings?
I don't know if I can match up. I might be able to match up to Tom Brady's time. I don't know if I can match up to how you recover getting smacked with a pie during this live show.
Go watch it on YouTube, Kevin's Other Show. Also, make sure you check out the podcast wherever you get a podcast app. Go get it, Kevin's Other Show.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach, a world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.